Hi gang, welcome back to the Ornery Latina, where I can't even begin to tell you how disgusted I am about this whole Daca thing. I was watching the sit-in meeting with Mr. Trump. I have to say, he reminded me of one of those silverback apes. You know, you could see by the body language he wasn't buying any of their liberal shit. He had his arms crossed like this, you know, and basically, you know, it was just like, you know, he really wasn't digging the whole process. I mean, yeah, he was trying to bargain with these fucking idiots, you know. Anyway, I want to tell a story because I think the best way to convey a meaningful message is to talk to you in plain English, because I think that Congress, they don't understand when we talk about statistics or real data. So anyway, years ago, I was in a very, very, very bad accident, Mr. Trump. It was so bad that my daughter was completely cut in half, okay? So I had suffered a collarbone fracture, shattered knee, and my finger, which is covered up by this ring that my mother gave me, was completely torn off. And it got infected. And so rather than go into the doctor, because we had full coverage insurance, I felt like they treated me very bad. They didn't appreciate my business. They made me seem like I was a burden. And meanwhile, while I was getting my knee looked at, which they left broken, there was an illegal alien in there, and I asked him what happened to him, and he said he was a gangbanger, and it was a drive-by shooting kind of thing, like he fired, they fired, and like he didn't have any insurance, but the state was paying for everything, because I had questioned him about everything, and he was shot up pretty bad, and he seemed pretty happy because he was all doped up in his wheelchair, but he had multiple surgeries, and it was all at our expense. Meanwhile, a mother and child, I couldn't get my child's colon put back together because it wasn't covered under a mega life junk market insurance out of fucking Texas. Anyway, Goldman Sachs was on the board of that, those motherfuckers, and they wanted to sue our insurance where when we have an accident and somebody doesn't pay up, you get that 300,000 or whatever. We wanted to get the measly 100,000 that we were entitled to, and they wanted to sue us out of that $100,000 for our pain and suffering and make us pay back some of the money that we used up on their insurance. So anyway, meanwhile, the illegal aliens can just come in here illegally and get the full gamut of services. So I don't mean to be racist or anything, because I'm Puerto Rican, and you know, my mom came here to this country legally, and I was born in this country, but you know, and of course Puerto Rico is part of the United States somewhat. Anyway, long story short, I am the same mix of that Kimberly Guilfoyle and I are. We're both Puerto Rican and Irish, except I have Italian in me, and I'm twice as ornery as she is. So anyway, I look at this illegal alien and I'm listening to his fucking bullshit story, and I'm thinking, oh my fucking God. You know, you gotta be fucking kidding me. We're paying for this fucking pendejo to get all these services. So you're talking about Daca, these poor kids and stuff like that. But you don't even like talk about the fact that we have a sex slave trafficking problem, a huge one in California. And it involves a lot of little kids and people like just getting kidnapped. I mean, the kids, you know, freaking paper boys were getting kidnapped in the 70s, you know. We don't talk about that shit. And then they go up to DC on a nice little trip and they get raped, you know. So anyway, we don't talk about that, Mr. Trump, when we're talking about like pedophiles and stuff like that. But look, California is going to be a sanctuary state. And basically, what you might as well do is hold up a fucking sign that says, welcome to California, especially pedophiles, welcome. Welcome pedophiles, you know, sex offenders from Mexico who wants to traffic little kids, come on over. You are safe here in this state. You know, it is a huge disservice, liberals, that you've done to this country. You have completely destroyed our country and our sense of safety over your fucking lying ass fake bigotry. And what really is bothering me is that when you have these fucking dumb Hispanic women that are supposed to portray the Democratic agenda, who can't even fucking like make any kind of like talking points that are just sane or normal, and this is supposed to like depict Hispanics thinking, and you know, a lot of Hispanics are like Kimberly. You know, a lot of them are, but we don't get put out there. Only Kimberly, because her husband has money and she has money and she's a great lawyer. And don't get me wrong, I love Kimberly Guilfoyle. I love her a lot. She's great. But there are normal, everyday, working Hispanics that think just like Kimberly. And we are considered the minority, but we are absolutely the majority. And this is what's fucking up the media, because you know what? We are portraying Hispanics as liberals, and the base is that the majority of those Hispanics that are voting for the Liberal Party are illegal, and you are pushing this illegal immigration thing just to get a few of your things, but you're not getting the whole package for us. And we did not put you in office, Mr. Trump, to go half-ass with it like George W. Bush did, or like Ronnie fucking Reagan did, okay? We pushed you to get the whole fucking motherfucking deal, okay? Excuse my language, because you're Donald Einstein Trump. So this whole thing that we're gonna do some of it and then we're gonna allocate the money later down the road is bullshit, because you know they won't. They'll have another way of spending it, because that's what liberals do. And so it really bothers me is that you can call Donald Trump a racist all you want, but the true racist is the Democratic Party. It's the Nancy Pelosi's. It's the Dianne Feinstein, Frankenstein, or whatever the fuck her fucking name is. I don't care if I get my facts right. And it's the people that sit there and protect the pedophiles that come in and sex traffic little girls from Mexico ages 4 to 10. And if you don't think this is going to happen in your neighborhood to your kids that get hooked on drugs because they meet some migrant worker kid, in school who says, try this marijuana or try this or that, then you have another thing coming to you, because you know what? Not all of us can afford the private schools. And it's getting more spendy and more expensive, because we're sitting there giving free choice to the Latinos and to the kids that are fucking failing, whose parents don't give a fucking flying fuck. And Jeb's just like, hell, here's a voucher. You can go anywhere you want. Fuck you, Jeb Bush. You know what? I went to your little bigoted Hispanic leadership thing or whatever, and you didn't lead anything for Hispanics. In fact, the guy that was funding you was really good friends with that Mr. Dingle, and I call him Mr. Dingleberry. You know why? Because he's a fucking piece of crap. That's why. He might be the dinosaur of the legislature, but Dingle, I can make your letters look mild, you little piece of shit, but you don't see my letters out there, and boy, if you did, they would be pretty funny, and I don't even give a fuck, because you know what? The people that we have in office, they're pussified, Bill. They are absolutely, I'm talking to my camera guy, they are pussified. We are the pussification of America. We have a whole bunch of pussies out there. Oh, they're going to get let go because they're groping. You know what? That is the rite of passage when they become a senator. They think, oh, it's like a rock star or whatever. Like, oh, I have all the girls. I can grope. Just because you're a fucking senator doesn't give you a right to grope those lobbyists. Although those lobbyists will sit there and wave their shit in front of you and say, oh, we're going to give you money and slide you little envelopes, and they all do it, They all fucking do it. I've seen it. So anyway, but you're going to bring up stuff on normal people that run for office because they weren't fucking perfect. Well, fuck you. And the fucking shit high horse that you're sitting on, right? Because you know what? We need to have normal everyday people in office representing normal everyday folks, not just the elites. So by the way, have a fucking fucked up shitty day, because you know what? We're not going to get our fence. You know why? Because the fence isn't going to stop them. You're damn right the fence isn't going to stop them. You know what? Because they have underground tunnels. And we need to blow that shit up too. And we're not going to talk about the sex trafficking, or we're not going to talk about the thousands of kids that are slaves. We're not going to talk about how we need the illegal aliens to do the work for less because these fucking farmers are pieces of shit and they need to sell their goddamn farms if they're too lazy to do the work. Maybe they could sell it to the illegal Daca kids or whatever, But anyway, the fact is, it's a modern form of slavery. And it is on both sides, and it's in both parties. And you know what? Nobody wants to admit this, and nobody wants to tell the truth. And just fuck all of you. Just go fucking kiss my ass. Kiss my Puerto Rican, Irish, Italian ass. Have a great day.